good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Eureka Springs channel. I'm Melody Purdy, your host, and we're giving you another segment today to help introduce to you all of the candidates who are running for Carroll County Sheriff position. We have interviewed a couple of the candidates already, and we are going to bring you another candidate today, Mr. Daniel Klatt, who has decided to put his name in the hat for this most important position for our county. We are trying to make this as fair as possible to all of our candidates and to make this a fair bipartisan approach. So we asked our community to submit questions to us that they would like for us to ask the candidates. So I've compiled that list of questions, and I'm going to give those questions to Daniel and give him a chance to respond and help you be informed about his position on certain things. So I'm excited to bring him to you today, and I'm very grateful that all of the candidates have decided to be a participant. And I'm very thankful that all of them are willing to serve. So let me bring Daniel onto the screen. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you again for doing this, and I wish you the best of luck, and want to be able to give you an opportunity for some of the voters who may not have met you to get to know you a little bit better. And I thought this is a good way. We'll just talk about some of the topics.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So our first question from the community is, over the last few years, our homeless population has increased. As sheriff of the county, what role do you play in providing assistance, and what plans do you have to help this population?
The homeless problem has gotten a lot worse in Carroll County, and it's kind of troubling to see. Obviously, there's many factors that have contributed to it. But as far as the role of sheriff, what we can do is there's been a lot of talk about community shelters being built. I was at a Quorum Court meeting the other day where they were talking about trying to get some of the COVID relief money for some shelters and stuff. Our role in that would be to ensure that, one, the shelters are safe. Presumably, if the county money is going to be used for them, they would potentially or most likely be in the county. Of course, they could be in the cities too. But providing some security and stuff for those shelters would be one thing that I feel like the sheriff's office should be instrumental in doing.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate the response.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go on to the next question. We're living in a digital age where many people get their information from various forms. How do you see your responsibility when it comes to social media from both a personal standpoint and also as a sheriff's department?
Well, social media is a huge thing that needs to be used. We used to use it quite a bit at the sheriff's office, and for whatever reason, I'm not sure, it seems to have slipped off. One of the things that I'm big on is getting information to the community. We will have an active social media Facebook page. We will have an active website. It will show bookings. It'll show releases. And another thing I would like to do is a letter from the sheriff every month that will tell the community about where the sheriff's office is at, maybe high crime areas, budget information, and just general information about what's going on with the sheriff's office, hirings of new deputies, introducing deputies to new areas if they're going to be, say, at Holiday Island or something, and maybe even doing an interview with each deputy every month. Just so the community can kind of get to know who those officers are.
Thank you, Daniel. Our next question is, what skills and experience make you qualified to lead not only your staff, but perhaps to the community at large in this position?
Well, I've got a pretty long history of experience in training. I've got nearly 3,000 hours of training. A lot of those hours, probably at least a quarter or more, are administrative trainings that I received from the University of Arkansas through the Criminal Justice Institute. I've been to all the major administrative trainings that they offer. Some of them are co-sponsored by the FBI. Uh, I think training and experience is very important for a sheriff. Again, I was with the sheriff's office for 16 years, and knowing that department the way I do, having run administration and been in those positions and dealt with those budgets, those are the kind of experience that, or sorry, that's the kind of experience that you need to be an effective leader, is knowing that position, knowing that place. In particular, there's a lot to be said about years of experience, um, and years of experience are awesome, but years of experience at certain places can also be very beneficial.
Okay, thanks, Daniel. All right, the next question from the community. What do you see as the number one problem for our county? And what do you want to implement to help change and improve it?
Obviously, the drugs and the thefts are a huge problem in the county. Um, One of the big ways we can do one of the biggest things we can do to help combat that is stronger patrols, being out in the county, moving. I've always said presence is deterrence. If we're sitting stationary in one single place, we're not really deterring anything other than in that one single place. We need to be out moving, driving the cars, being on the county roads, moving along the state highways. We need to be all over this county. I remember back when I was in patrol, it was nothing to put 200-300 miles on a car a night. Yeah, that does get a little pricey, but it keeps people wondering. It keeps the people that are out stealing or moving around doing stuff that they're not supposed to do wondering, where are we at? And if we're just always sitting kind of in the same places or not out moving around the county, they they will pick up a pattern, just like we should be picking up patterns as far as high crime areas, high theft areas, high drug traffic areas. They pick up the same patterns from law enforcement as well as, hey, this shift's always sitting over here, this shift's always over there. Uh, Being out, moving, keeping them guessing, that's one of the best ways to help slow down and prevent the thefts and the movement of drugs in the county.
Thanks, Daniel. When it comes to leadership, how would you describe your style, both for your staff and also with the community?
I'm very fair, but I can be very firm. Um, I've well, what I'm told is I have a reputation for being fair and firm. I've been told that actually several times throughout this deal. Um, People need to be treated with respect. That's the first thing. Even if you don't necessarily get along with that person, you still treat them like they're your best friend. And I expect that from all my employees too, because that's one of the things that makes your department good, is when everybody gets along. And to do that, though, you have to set a standard and you have to adhere to it. And when you start deviating from that for certain people or certain cliques or anything like that, that's when you start running into problems. So it needs to be an equal, fair standard that's firm across the board for everybody, and it needs to be enforced. And that's one of the ways I've seen in the past that we've been able to have a good working relationship where all the officers get along, all the departments get along together. Is we just need to treat everybody with respect, including the public.
Okay. Thanks, Daniel. Another question that was sent in. Um, with the significance of the LGBTQ population of Carroll County, what do you see as your role in the way of leadership for your staff and also in consideration of the community?
Again, I think they should be treated just like anybody else in this community. I'm real big on treating people with respect as equals, regardless of their beliefs, views, gender, sex, race, religion, anything like that. Everybody should be treated absolutely equal across the board. Um, I'm not for making special concessions for any groups or people. It's everybody gets treated the same. Then everybody knows what to expect, and that should be with compassion and just being professional, regardless of who that person is that you're dealing with. Professionalism is really big for me.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. And here's another question for you from the community. What are your plans for drug enforcement? And what solutions can you provide to help those who do have addictions?
So to answer your second question first, what we can do, I mean, you hear a lot of talk about drugs and stuff, and they are a huge problem in this community and have been since, well, I came here in 2002, and they've always been a problem. The sheriff's office, as far as what they can do, is sort of limited. So you hear, a lot of big ideas and big things, but honestly, what a sheriff's office could do is, one, is we enforce the drug laws and we enforce them firmly. Two is we provide drug and alcohol treatment in the jail as well as religious services in the jail. Now, these are optional programs that they can take, but in my experience, from what I've seen, most of the time people will take them. I've had people tell me, well, they don't ever seem to stick once they get out. Well, in some cases that may be true, but if it does help one or two people, I think it's great. And then on the second side is I have had people that have gone in there, they go back out, they get back on their stuff. And then I've had them come and say, you know what? But because I had that, I knew somebody I could call later when I was really actually ready to get help. So it does build context for them if they actually, when they get out and they want the help, they know who they can contact and call. And we need to support the rehabs and stuff that are in the community. The way that we do that is we can publicize, maybe some events that they're going to have and stuff like that. But we don't have no real way to financially, support them or anything of that nature. But we can support what they do and help them in any way possible that we can. And I'm sorry, what was the first question again?
Yes, of course. What were the plans for drug enforcement?
I do have some plans, and part of that includes bringing back the drug task force. That is something that I'm not going to run on as far as a promise, but I will tell you that there's been conversations and that would be in motion immediately, even before January 1st. Those contacts would be made and the MOUs we would start generating, and I'll leave that at that. But that's one of the ways that we can do it. Second way is just knowing those areas. We know where those areas are. We know where the drugs are coming in for the most part. We know roughly where they're being held. We know roughly who the players are. And one way you help with that is you just strong enforcement, being in those areas, watching those vehicles. You know which vehicles are coming and going, and you just got to work that area and let them know we don't want you here. And either you can leave or quit doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
And our last question. I know you're relieved.
Last question. No, I'm fine. I could do this all day.
I'm sure you could. Last question is, what are the top priorities needed in case of a natural disaster or a man-made disaster that might affect our county?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yes, of course. Absolutely. What are the top priorities that are needed in the case of a natural or a man-made disaster that might affect our county?
The top priorities is getting with the correct agencies. So that would be the county judge's office, the Office of Department of Emergency Management, and the police departments. And one of the ways we can prepare for that is by having trainings like we used to. We used to train with all those departments together and have simulations and mass casualty events, school shooting events. We used to train for all those things, and I haven't seen those done in several years. And I'm not just saying just recently, in several years we used to, and I think those need to come back. Training is always the best thing. Very, very big on training, and that's the best way that we can get prepared is to get these agencies together, get the memorandums of understanding if there needs to be, have all that stuff ready to go, and just train together.
All right, Daniel, that concludes all of the questions that were submitted by the community. I want to thank those that did submit the questions. We appreciate that. At this time, I'd just like to open up the floor for you, Daniel. If you'd like to speak directly to the citizens of Carroll County at this time, I'm going to throw it back to you just for a few minutes if you'd like to just talk to folks.
Sure. I mean, a lot of people don't know who I am, but my name's Daniel Klatt, and I worked for the sheriff's office for 16 years. I was there from 2002 to 2018. I've been married to my wife, Allison, for 27 years. We have 2 sons, Justin and Jared, both who were raised in Green Forest. We have 3 grandchildren. And I worked my way up through 4 different sheriffs and was retired as administrative lieutenant. Again, I had close to 3,000 hours of training. That training includes crime scene tech, computer forensics, cell phone forensics, nationally certified arson investigator. Pretty much anything you can do in computers, I'm certified in. Anything to do with crime scene, I'm certified in arson, as well as all the administrative training through the Criminal Justice Institute. And I would just appreciate it if you would give me a good consideration. Check out my Facebook page at Klatt for Sheriff on Facebook, and you can read through a complete history of everything I did with the sheriff's office, all the positions I held, all the training that I've been through. And obviously feel free to give me a call, ask any questions that you might have, and I'll be happy to answer them for you, or come sit down and visit with you, or give you a call, however you want to do it.
Well, thank you, Daniel. Thank you for taking your time today to chat with us and to answer the questions. And I want to wish you the best of luck. And as always, I have thanked all of our candidates. Thank you for being willing to serve. It's an important role for our county, and one that will be beneficial for all. And I just want to thank you for having the willingness to step forward and serve. We appreciate that very much. And we thank you for taking your time today with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye. All right, so you guys, you can listen in to all of the segments that we've filmed for the candidates here at Eureka Springs channel. You can look at us both on Facebook and YouTube. And again, we'd like to thank all of the participants and the candidates who took of their time to answer these questions. And just remember, our candidates have not been informed of the questions prior to today, so we're fresh right off the block. They've had to answer our questions. We are filming this live, so these are live responses to our questions, and we are just simply showcasing this to you as a replay. Thanks again for watching Eureka Springs channel and for supporting us. We try to bring you good news and good people and the good places of Eureka Springs and Carroll County. So we appreciate you watching us, and we hope you all have a wonderful day, and stay out there and stay informed, and don't forget to go vote. Thanks, you guys, for watching us. Bye-bye.